everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it is Monday morning and we're going to do something different today. I am going to show you guys how to make your own planner cover. So Arts by Naty was kind enough to contact me and send me one of her really adorable SVG files to make some sort of creation out of, and I decided to use it to make a planner cover. She has a website, artsbynaty.com, and she creates graphic resources and illustrations and different things for personal and commercial products. When you purchase one of her items, you will get an SVG, a PNG, and an EPS file. I've not ever heard of an EPS file, but you crafty ladies out there will probably know what that is. So these illustrations, of course, you can, like a PNG, you can load that into Photoshop and create a custom sort of creation for yourself, or the SVG files, you can use those on Cricuts or Silhouette machines. So I decided I really like this Batman banana, so it says banana. Yeah, you get it. It's like the 60s Batman kind of reference, and it kind of combines my love of Batman and whimsy, so I decided to make a planner cover out of it. So what I did was I brought this into Photoshop. The illustration itself, I did not change. You'll want to look at her website in regards to how you can use her files and what you can do in the ways of customization, but I did not change the graphic at all. I just added a blue background and I added my name at the bottom in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is I've already sized this to be the size of a mini happy planner cover. So if you want to make a mini cover, the sizes that you'll want to put into Photoshop are 4.875 wide, which is 4 7/8, or and then the height is 7.1875 or 7 3/16. If you're wanting to get the dimensions for a planner cover to do it yourself, you're going to want to measure from the actual paper, because when you laminate it, you're going to want to leave that extra little bit around. So when you're measuring the actual paper size, be sure to go from side to side on the actual paper part of the cover. All right, so let me just cut this down real quick and I will be right back. Okay, so now that I have my planner cover ready here, so if you'll look now, it's a little, it ended up being a little like smidge shorter, but that's okay. It's not really going to make that much of a difference. So what I do, because my laminator will print up to 10 mil laminate sheets, and they are very, very thick. So what I do is I go ahead and punch the paper, and then I'll show you what I do after I actually laminate it. So I don't go by the lines. I put it in the very middle to give me the 7 punches that I need for the mini planner. So I just kind of line it up in the middle. And I probably should have moved the illustration over just a little bit more. And also, I don't think that I did a very good job of getting the name centered, but it's still really, really cute. So I normally, when I make planner covers, I normally do a rounded punch on them, and my 1/2 inch punch is broken. So I'm going to have to use a 1 inch punch. And actually, if you do this, just... yeah, it's the Happy Planner corners are more like a 1/2 inch rounded corner, but it doesn't look bad when you're using the 1 inch. It's just a little bit bigger of a round. So I'll show you a completed one. This is a completed cover that I made with the 1 inch round punch, and it doesn't look that bad. Okay, so now that this is done, I'm going to put it into my laminating sheet. When you use a laminator, laminating pouches, you kind of want it to go as far to the front as you can, and I normally put the punch side up at the top of the laminating pouch. And I just kind of open it up as wide as I can get it and put the thing in there, whatever you're laminating. And you want it to be even because this end, you're not going to really trim at all. So you want it to be kind of even. Because the closer the lamination is to what you're trying to trim, it's a little harder to trim off with your paper cutter. At least it is for me. It's harder to control the knife going down it. Alright, so that looks even enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video, and I don't have a big enough space to put my laminator to show you how or what my laminator looks like, because my laminator is like the size of a small child and it is heavy. And I don't have enough room on my desk to do that. So I'm going to, oh, and I'm only going to make a front cover today because I like to keep an actual Happy Planner cover on the back of my planner, because you'll see whenever I punch out these holes, they're a little bit bigger than the normal punches. So I'll show you what all that looks like in just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, so my planner cover has now been laminated. Sorry for the glare, it's my ring light, but I think you can see it a little bit better right there. So it's laminated. So I want to stress the importance of, if you do have a smaller laminating machine, only use the laminate pouches that your machine can take. So you wouldn't obviously want to try to run a piece of 10 mil laminate through a laminator that only does 3 mil or 5 mil. Most of the laminators that you can buy at Walmart or Target or Amazon, wherever, they're going to only do 3 and at the most probably 5. You don't have to have an expensive fancy laminator to make planner covers. You can make, it's just not going to be as strong of a laminate. But I will link the laminator, if you're interested, that I use in the description box. That way you can check it out. And I would recommend, only if you're like really serious about, you know, making planner covers or whatnot, because otherwise my laminator is a beast and it takes up a lot of room. I have to keep it off to the side and drag it out whenever I want to use it. So just keep that in mind also, but I will link it in case you're interested. So basically what I do on my Fiskars paper cutter is I take the cover and I put the edge of it up to where the cut line, because if I do that, it's going to leave just enough space around the edge of the planner cover to keep that seal. And also, whenever you're putting this through your paper cutter, just hold on to it, because it is, if you're using 10 mil laminate, because it is so thick, it will move on you. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the rest of this. And I'll show you what happens next. Okay, and since we put the punch portion all the way up to the fold and the laminate sheet, I don't have to trim that side. So what happens next is a little noisy, so I will probably speed up the video. I need to find my hole puncher, and I'm not sure where that is. Okay, I found my hole puncher. This is what happens when you have so much stuff and you don't know where you put it. It was, however, in the drawer that's labeled tools, but just buried. So I'm going to take my 1-inch corner rounder again, and word to the wise, if you try to use these on really thick laminate, you have a very good chance of breaking them because it is so thick, and these aren't meant to punch through very thick things. This is my second set of them. So it's harder to make the punch if you hold on to it. So what I do, and this is kind of noisy, so I'm sorry, is I stick it in here and I do like that. And it will make the punch and the plastic for you. So, yeah, see, it kind of gets hung up a little bit because these are not meant to punch through that. But I don't want to spend the money on a heavy duty corner punch because they're expensive. All right, and on this, you may, if you have like one of those block nail files that have the different thickness of file on them, the like squishy block ones, you can go around this and actually kind of buff that so it's not as sharp, because it does leave like just a tiny bit of sharpness on it. So this next part is a little bit tricky too. Not tricky, but it's noisy and it's kind of hard because hole punchers also like are not meant to go through 10 mil laminate. So what I do is I take the top of my hole puncher and line it up with the top of the arc punch and make a hole. All right, so we're gonna do this all the way down. Okay. If you're going to use a regular hole puncher with really thick laminate, I am going to suggest that you get a hole puncher with the rubber grips, because it does take a little bit of elbow grease to get this through the punch, and trust me, you will be happy you bought hole punchers with rubber grips. Alright, so what we're going to do next is cut out the little slits that go on the discs. I bought these on Amazon because I needed something better. I used to do it with scissors, but these have a smaller blade on them. They're a straight blade and they cut through this laminate so easy, a lot easier than scissors. So basically what I do now is I just go in and I trim off the middle right here, or trim out that slit. I hope none of these little pieces of laminate flew in my coffee. I never have coffee up on my desk when I'm doing plan with these, but yeah. Okay, so there is the cover. So let's put it on a planner and see what it looks like. We'll put it on this one because it has black discs, and I think it will look really good with that. So this is my, oh, this is the rest of my wrong planner. Okay, so there is the planner cover. I think it looks super cute. It's a little bit different, obviously, than a happy planner cover because it's just handmade. But it is, like I said, it's a little bit wobblier than a regular planner cover. And that's why I normally like to keep a happy planner cover on the back, because when I slide it into my deluxe cover, it doesn't move as much, but for the front cover it works perfectly. So there you go, that's how you make a homemade planner cover. And if you have any questions, be sure to drop me a comment in down below. I'll link all of the items that I used today in my description box. And thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving me a big thumbs up and also subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.